Hello, hello, Lucid Dream Infinity. This is Andrew. I like to start all my videos with a quick explanation of what lucid dreaming is. Lucid dreaming is when you are asleep and you are in a dream. So you're sleeping and you're dreaming, and you sort of look around and realize, aha, I'm in a dream right now. This is a dream. So it's an awareness, it's a realization that you're having a dream while a dream is occurring. And that's what lucid dreaming is. I just finished doing a video on the history of lucid dreaming and talking about how the teachings and sort of the first texts that we have about lucid dreaming are from ancient Tibet and written by a very prolific and revered spiritual figure named Padmasambhava, or more commonly called Guru Rinpoche. And I wanted to go a little bit more deeply into the potential spiritual applications of lucid dreaming. And part of the reason why I wanted to do this is because lucid dreaming was originally used as a method or as a technique for realizing enlightenment, essentially. You read the book, it's called Natural Liberation, written by Padmasambhava, translated by this scholar named B. Allen Wallace. He talks a lot in that book about using the dream state for achieving these sorts of profound spiritual insights and things like that. So one of the reasons why I personally believe that lucid dreaming is such a potent and a powerful place in which to experience these profound states of realization or profound mental states is because lucid dreaming, the lucid dream state itself, is a purely mental dimension. And going more deeply into this, what I mean by that is that here in this physical realm, in this world that we all share, we have our physical bodies, and we're continuously being stimulated by different sensory inputs, right? We're constantly being bombarded with visual stimulation and sounds that we hear and scents that we taste and the things that we feel and touch and all of that stuff. All of that miasma of sensory input is continuously bombarding us. And so if you have a meditation practice, if you meditate at all, it's the first few years that I practiced meditation, I sort of came to realize and understand that there's constantly the potential for distraction to arise, whether it's a sound, a dog barking, somebody honking their horn. Sounds in particular can be very, very disruptive to meditating. So anyway, the great thing about the lucid dream state is that it's a purely mental dimension. I've talked about this before, how dreams are constructions of the mind. They're a purely mental space, and that may seem obvious, and it is obvious, but the implication here is that within lucid dreams, all physical sensory input is basically cut off. It's basically been abscised. And so what that means is that those distractions are not present, right? We're not being bombarded with sounds and things that we see and different sorts of sensory input that can distract us. So those are absent. The other sort of unique thing about the lucid dream state is, like I said, it's a purely mental dimension. And so what that means is that our consciousness, right, our sense of self-awareness, our self-cognizance, is not interfacing with the physical body, right? Consciousness gets to be present in a purely mental dimension. And so what this means is that, or at least the implication here is that it becomes much easier for consciousness to sort of focus single-mindedly, if you will, on whatever certain objectives or desires that it wants to fulfill. So if you meditate, if you have a meditation practice, or if you have a mantra that you like to chant, and you also have a lucidity practice, you're a lucid dreamer, you might consider, combining the two of those things through meditating in a lucid dream, or through chanting your mantra in a lucid dream. And there's sort of all kinds of different, potential insights and spiritual realizations that are likely to occur within that dimension of being in a lucid dream and meditating. So that's sort of something to look at and to experiment with. And if this is something that you might be interested in, check out that book, Natural Liberation by B. Alan Wallace. And in that book, Padmasambhava gives some very specific spiritual practices, very specific sorts of activities to engage in within the dream state that are supposed to help facilitate these profound spiritual realizations. For example, in one of these, the first one that comes to mind off the top of my head is he talks about how go find a river, that's flowing along, and jump into the river and just allow yourself to be carried away by this river of bliss and spiritual understanding. And so that's one idea, but he has all sorts of different practices that you can do to sort of help bring your mind into a higher level of consciousness, and to help sort of facilitate these spiritual realizations and these spiritual insights. And I think that that's really important. It's really important to acknowledge that when consciousness is in that purely mental dimension of the lucid dream, that's a really powerful and very potent time in which these sorts of spiritual realizations can occur. Because, as I've said before, in the lucid dream state, consciousness is really able to zero in and focus, and to sort of accelerate in the process of bringing about things, whether that's having a certain experience like flying, or experimenting or exploring the universe, right? You can sort of go into these experiences almost immediately, because imagination and consciousness are completely sort of unharnessed, right? The mind is no longer in this physical realm where we're sort of limited by time and circumstance and the laws of physics, right? All of that stuff is sort of brushed aside in the dream world. And so that allows consciousness to operate at a much more accelerated level, at a much faster speed. And so one of the things that we can sort of direct that towards is spirituality, and achieving spiritual insights and spiritual realizations into the truth about ourselves, our minds, the universe, the world, all of these things, right? So that's one very powerful area of lucid dreaming that I would encourage anyone to explore more in depth, and kind of consider bringing a meditation practice into your lucid dreaming, and just check that out, see what that's about, and you might have a very sort of powerful, life-altering kind of spiritual insight experience, and see what that's about. And that book, Natural Liberation, is a great place to start in looking into that. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.